All right, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning. Whenever it is you tune in, hope all is going well. I am Noah.
Have his co-host here, good old Trey, whose birthday was 3 weeks ago. So if you want to, good old
Yeah.
16 now.
All right. So we got a lot to catch up on because it's been about a month since you've seen us, and yeah, it's just been really crazy on our side. I just got back earlier from today from helping other people move, so I'm kind of sore right now, and just trying to convert my mindset from that over to here. So how's everybody else doing over here? We got Lee85 in the chat right now. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Got Kevin. Let's go with yourself, man. Whew.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, I saw the other day that we had a stream that was just like called Everything But the Quarterback. Well, leave it to us to just talk about only the quarterbacks. D. Coleman, salute to you back. We got some steak sauce in here. How's it going? All right. So, how do we want to kick this off? We want to pick a quarterback and then talk about that. Do we want to talk about some rumors first? Good evening to
Oh,
you, Pamela.
what's going on?
Always good to see you.
Um, guess we could talk about some rumors first. Had a lot going on in the last 48 hours. Lot of rumors going on in the last 48 hours. So,
Yeah. So, you want to start on offense or defense first? Because there's a couple on both.
let's do the defense. Let's start with the obvious one on defense first.
All right. So, we just talked about this before the stream. L'Jarius Sneed. What's what's the situation with him?
Okay, so this one came out about last week, about Wednesday, I think, maybe Thursday. That us and the Broncos had a lot of interest in him. Now, of course, you have to take a lot of rumors, especially in between the weeks of like late February to early March, because those are when rumors are just popping. Like some of them may be real, some may be fake, some of them people are just copying and pasting from others and trying to look real. Some are just we're trying to throw something on the wall and hope it sticks. So, like I said, it's a lot going on. Like, and we're and in the last 3 years, the Atlanta Falcons are no stranger to rumors. We went from Deshaun Watson was a lock. We went to Lamar Jackson could come here. We went to Bill Belichick was a lock. We went that we were going to trade up trade back from number 4
We
to
had a scare with the Jim Harbaugh as well.
Yep, had a Jim Harbaugh had that one. Um, what other rumors have we had? Had a rumor we were going to trade back last year into like the mid first round. Um, and like I said, a lot of the moves we haven't really known until like the last minute. Like the Bijan Robinson move, no one was really knew that was going to happen until like a couple of days before. Like it wasn't big until like a couple of days before. The Kyle Pitts thing, Daniel Jeremiah, one of his last mock drafts had the Falcons going Kyle Pitts, and then that blew up the last 2 weeks until we took him. And then Drake London, we didn't know we were going to take until like the very last week before the draft, maybe a couple of days before. So, like I said, with us and how people you want to use our name, because even though we haven't won a lot in the last couple of years, we still are one of those hot names that a lot of people know about. So they use a lot of rumors to connect us to, especially quarterbacks. We'll get to that in a minute though. But yeah, so I don't know if you all know, but L'Jarius Sneed was franchise tagged a couple of days ago. Basically, the Chiefs knew they weren't gonna get him to resign. So what they were doing is, okay, if we're gonna franchise tag him, if we can't re-sign him to a long-term extension, we still don't want to just let a top 10, top 5 corner leave out of here without basically getting anything for him but dust and him saying, bye bye, I got my 2 rings, I'm out of here. So, well, shoot, would it be 3 rings? Because it was he here that first ring? The first ring they got might have been 3 rings. He might have 3 rings. Um, but I'll check when he was drafted after this.
Yeah.
But yeah. So basically, they let him see what his trade value was, what teams want him. They're also taking calls. So basically, if there is interest in him, they say we still have interest in him. But we would have to trade for him, and the Chiefs are wanting or expecting, we don't know, a mid to late first rounder to a very, very early second rounder. So like those 33, between like 33 and 40, 45, that type of early second.
I'm also seeing Baker Mayfield rumors as well.
Yeah.
You know, as far as
That one,
connection to us.
yeah. That one I did not see until literally maybe this morning, I think. Maybe
Yeah.
late last night, because that one popped out of nowhere. They were like, yeah, keep an eye open for the Falcons to be a dark horse for Baker Mayfield. I'm like, huh? Because like when you think about it, it's like,
2 weeks ago, I'm seeing this Sports Illustrated article for Jimmy Garoppolo.
oh yeah, like when I tell you, we have had so much quarterback rumors going on, and quarterback, he should go here. I mean, as soon as the drug thing came out about Jimmy Garoppolo, like, oh yeah, he'd be a great fit in Atlanta. Let him start, draft a quarterback, let him. So I'm like, no, no, we don't want him at all. Because even if we got him, he's suspended for like the first 5 games of the season. So whoever we drafted was going to start the first 5 games. So what's the point of drafting him, saying, oh yeah, you're going to sit for the last 11 games, or you're just gonna have to flip flop. And we already seen what flip flopping quarterbacks looks like from last year. I don't feel like doing that again. I'm pretty sure you guys don't feel like doing it again. I want stability at the most important position, and not just football, but in all of sports. So, that was just a wild one. Couple of more. Kirk Cousins. Yes, I mean, now Kirk Cousins has been linked to us for about a month now. Because his wife is from Atlanta, so they've been using that line. But people like now are actually saying, like Adam Schefter just reported that we like actually have interest in him, and that we might want to go the veteran route. So that's something. And then we all know the guy from Kennesaw, Georgia, Mr. Good old Justin Fields, always. Now, Fields has had the most like flipped rumors in the last 24 hours. So Thursday, we called in. We asked the Bears what would it take to get Fields? What's the compensation looking like? We checked in on them. Friday, it was we have no interest in Justin Fields. It's getting overblown, and that we are more likely looking at Kirk Cousins. Then just a couple of hours ago, it was, oh, we almost have a deal finalized with Justin Fields, and we're gonna send pick 43 and pick 8, swap first round picks. So we're gonna get pick. They get pick 8, we get pick 9, and we send 43 to get Justin Fields. And I'm like, so are we gonna get him? Are we not? Are we trading up? Are we waiting for Jaden Daniels to open up? Are we waiting for one of the Patriots to maybe see what they like? Rumors are all over the place right now, and it's like I said, it's the off season. You never know until you actually know.
Yeah, just gotta dodge through everything that you see. Just not trusting everything right now because as long as they're rumors, they're going to stay rumors until any action takes further. So
It's so bad right now. I can't even trust Adam Schefter.
I don't pay attention to anybody. So yeah, I think we definitely saw the ceiling with Baker this season.
And that's the divisional round.
Because it's not like Tampa Bay has a terrible offense. They actually got a fairly good one this year, but
I mean, they had the weapons. Run game was getting better. Offensive line was getting
well,
better.
speaking of weapons, what's the deal with Mike Evans?
Okay, so there was a report earlier today at about 1-2 o'clock that said he wants to go to a place where he's featured in the offense like one or like the number one option or at least the high number two, and he also wants to go to a place where there's an elite quarterback. So, what it's looking like is he's trying to get another ring before he retires because he just turned. Did he? I think he turned 30 this year, or he's turning 31 next year. So We all know around those ages, wide receivers start to hit a little decline. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see him go to a team like the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bills might, want to see what that's looking like. What else you got out there? I would say the Jets, but the Jets are like in such a mess right now that it's like, even though we have Aaron Jones, the offensive line is, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, offensive line is still bad. Defense is, still young and growing, but we don't really know what it is. Don't know what Robert Saleh is because he, went from going 7-3 last season to literally losing seven straight in the end of the season, now 7-10, and it's just like can't really put him there. The Dolphins maybe, but it's like that team has so much talent just on offense
I don't
alone.
think he fits there.
Yeah,
He's really not fast enough. They don't really need a guy like him.
I mean they got to put they could use a possession guy like a jump ball guy, but it's like, do you like do
They've
you
been
really?
trying out those kind of they've been trying out those kind of people for years.
And then just like never were. I mean, that was what Chase Claypool was supposed to be last year when they traded for him, and
So
we see how that worked.
Devontae Parker was supposed to be for them for a while.
Yeah, Vontae Parker had like that one season where he had like 900 yards, but after that it was like, you know,
Yeah, I
you got
just don't think it's going
Chiba.
to work out for that kind of style. They got speedsters. I think they want to stick to that because it's been successful for them. Maybe not in the freezing cold, but
Speed everywhere. Um, Another place I can see him going. This is kind of like a stretch, but it could be the Lions. I mean, I wouldn't really call Jared Goff like an elite quarterback. He's a very good quarterback, like top 10. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown there. Other than
maybe
that,
off of this season,
yeah.
I would say so.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's an elite team. They just went to the NFC Championship. They were one or two fourth down calls away from just kicking the field goal from going to a Super Bowl. And when you really think about it, like they can use that veteran presence there. I mean, you can kind of tell that team is young. Like they're hungry, but they're still young. They don't have enough veterans on there to be like, yeah, we did this, we went there, we like this is what it takes to win.
Yeah,
Mike Evans,
their wide receiver room is going to be looking pretty thin right now too.
yeah, pretty young too. Like none of those receivers before this year had ever went to the playoffs before or played significant time in the playoffs. I mean, you got Jamison Williams, you got Amon Ra, you got can't forget his name right now. He was dropping a lot of passes in the NFC Championship game. Um,
Crap, I know who you're talking about.
he's almost as tall as I think he's taller than Mike Evans, or about the same height. Um, well, let me just look it up because now I'm kind of mad I can't remember.
And then they have Laporta. They have their running backs. They got one of the best offensive lines in the league.
Yeah, I could really say the best offensive line in the league, if we're being honest. I mean that offensive line is pretty good. Oh yeah, Khalif Raymond. Yeah, that's
Oh
what
yeah.
Raymond. Yeah, he was dropping a lot of passes in that game. Oh wait, no, my fault. Josh Reynolds. That's who it was. Josh Reynolds. That's who was dropping passes in that game.
I don't think either of them are under contract anymore, are they?
Um, I know Jameis Williams and Amon-Ra are set for like the next. No, Amon-Ra set for like the next 2 years. Jameis Williams got drafted last year, so he's set for the next 3 years. Because he was a first round pick, so they could uh franchise tag him if they need to. I did not know he was 29 years old. Wow, he's been in the league since
Yeah.
2017. Um,
Yeah, this is last year. He's a free agent.
yeah, there he is. But yeah,
I
so
mean, I would like that dynamic for them. Mike Evans at like the X. You have Amon Ross. You just keep him in the slot. Jameson in the Z.
I mean, you got your blend of speed, precision, big body. I mean, like you literally have every type of receiver. You got the big body guy. You got the not the fastest, but like the route technician guy in Amon Ra. And you got your guy that could take the top off the defense. And Jamison Williams, it's just like you can really do a lot of things with that defense, and I mean with the offense, and then not to even mention that you still have top three offensive line, Jameer Gibbs, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna want to
Montgomery.
yeah, they were gonna want to resign Tom Montgomery. So that offense will look pretty good with Mike Evans in it. Pretty scary if you really think about it.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about Kirk because he's dealing with his injury. He's coming back from it. He's been looking pretty good. Saw him at the tennis court, making some throws. What about Penix's injury?
Um, so the NFC champion, I mean the national championship game, he got beat up. He got beat up like bad. That offensive line was giving him no help at all. The year before, no, so it's 2 years in Indiana. He tore both ACLs, but then he transferred to Washington, had two healthy seasons, two straight healthy seasons, two straight career years, and then of course was in the Heisman uh conversations this year when he had like 4,000 yards. Um, I don't really know if I take him over any quarterback in the draft though. Like for me, he's my quarterback four. Um, just cause I feel like there's like better options in the draft. Now, if it was a case to where like we can trade down to like between those like 12 to 15 range, maybe 12 to 18 range, get like extra second, extra third and take them. Okay, yeah, I get that. But it's like, you know, will I take him over Daniels? No, because I think if you put Daniels with that Washington defense, how they played the entire, I think Daniels takes the LSU to a national championship game. That's just how good LSU's offense was this year, and how big of an improvement Jaden Daniels made this year. Am I taking him over Drake May? No, because I just like Drake May really had no help on that offense. Even I mean, you had Tez Walker, but Tez Walker was iffy. He had a lot of drops. Other than him, there was like really nobody out there, and they were like one of the top teams in the country in drop passes. Like there was like just a lot of great balls that just like you're like if that was like a Jamison Williams or a Vlad McConkey or a Brock Bowers, that's like so either a 30-yard gain or a touchdown. Offensive line was iffy, defense was terrible, coaching wasn't really that good, so I can't really say I take him over Drake May. And then of course, Galen Williams is just almost in a stratosphere of his own. Not to like say he's the next Patrick Mahomes because I don't think anyone is going to be the next Patrick Mahomes. I hate when people say like, yeah, he's the next. No, like no, stop trying to make him live up to that hype. Because if he ends up being the top 10 quarterback, but not Patrick Mahomes, you're going to say, oh well, he's not as good as we all thought he'd
Or
be.
or he's a bust or something.
Yeah, or he's a bust. Like no, like y'all are the ones that said he was going to be Patrick Mahomes. Then when he isn't, but he's still a good quarterback, you're mad. Like no, like you can't put that type of pressure on a guy because Mahomes could really end up being the best quarterback of all time if he keeps doing what he's doing. He could end up being the best quarterback of all time if we're being honest. If he like goes on a three-peat and ends up winning 7, 8 rings, even if he lost to Brady, I mean, like you can't really say like because Brady never went on a three-peat. It's like how can you really say he's
Around the
like
game, nobody went on a three-peat.
yeah, like no one like he'd be the only one to do that. We've only had four teams do a back to back. Him and Mahomes. I mean, him and Brady did that, but it's like, can you like, if you get that three-peat, like, can you really say, yeah, he's going to be the next Mahomes? Like, you can't put that type of pressure on him, dude. Like that, I hate doing that to players. But yeah, if it comes to you take a Penix or like let's say you sign a Kirk Cousins, and then you take like you trade back, take a Penix at like 12. I wouldn't be mad at that. I really wouldn't be. I couldn't be mad at that because it's like Penix. I think Penix starting gets you to like a 9-8, 10-7 season. I think Penix sitting a season or two and then coming out, I think that gets you like he could turn into a top 5 quarterback when he comes back. Like I said, it's a loaded QB draft. We said this before the stream. This is like a loaded draft, just offense. Like there's I just seen Daniel Jeremiah's thing. He has like 5 offensive linemen just in the top 20. And that's not even naming all the guys that's in like the top 50. The wide receiving class, I mean, you just seen it in the combine. This wide receiving class is dumb low. This might be the best wide receiving class we've seen maybe ever coming out of a draft. And we could say that about the last three draft class, about like this draft class right here. Like I think Xavier Worthy would have been wide receiver 3 last year, if we're being completely honest. Like that's just
What about
how
Rome?
Rome would have went first last year. If I'm going to be completely honest, Rome Odunze would have been the first or second wide receiver off the board. But when you're in the receiving class with Marvin Harrison, with Malik Neighbors, it's like now some I've heard some people say that they have Rome Odunze as the best wide receiver in the class. I've heard some people say they have Malik Neighbors. I've heard 60% say they have, of course, Marvin Harrison as the best wide receiver. So it's just like if you're saying the top three guys would have been the first wide receiver off the board any other draft, but just because they're in the receiving class with two other great receivers, it's like it's a flip flop. Like you can't really go wrong in this wide receiving class if you coach them right.
Yeah. So apparently, I guess Penix cleared his medicals twice. So maybe we shouldn't be as worried about his injury. But
Oh
I
yeah.
still don't really hear his hype anymore. Like I feel like that should be bigger news. And then
Oh,
rightfully put his name back up in that conversation.
it was the see the hype was real all of like the college football season and that Texas game he had, and then everyone seeing like the Michigan game, but it's like I can't really use that game against him like people are using it against him because it's like offensive line was terrible. Even though they didn't give up like 6-7 sacks, he got hit like a lot that game. Like it was terrible how bad he was protected. There were a lot of drop passes. Michigan was sending a lot of blitzes at him. He didn't really have enough time. The run game was non-existent that game for Washington, so they couldn't really help him with that. So it's like I can't really use that game on him, but it's still some passes that he should have hit. It's still a couple of bad balls that he had that you're like, that's just you. Like that's not anybody. That's just you. But everyone has that type of like. Even Daniels has a lot of those. Drake Man has a lot of those. Caleb Williams has a lot of those. So I can't really use that to say like, oh yeah, he's going to be a terrible quarterback because you can use that against any quarterback. No quarterback's perfect. They're not going to make every throw. So, but yeah, I think that's what a lot of people use against him is that Michigan game just because of how bad he was in that game and really how bad that Washington offense was in that game, especially in the second half.
Yeah, Justin here is saying Real X Daniels and Drake May, either of those I'm happy with, but if we can't trade up, then maybe picking up a Penix isn't a bad idea. But the Falcons need to nail the quarterback station. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
I mean,
Is this kind of true? Would you guys say
yeah.
that? Like Penix and then McCarthy? Oh yeah, where was McCarthy in that kind of
Oh,
discussion for you?
McCarthy was holy. Oh my god. I wouldn't even put JJ in front of Rattler and Nix. I feel like Rattler and Nix had better combines than JJ. JJ was like it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. Like it was like 50-50 because he missed a lot of throws. He had a corner out that you're like, who are you throwing to? Now, of course, the wide receiver kind of cut it short, but it's still like even that pass, the way it looked, it was like, who are you throwing to? Like a lot of his passes, a lot of his deep balls didn't just like it did not look as good as Penix. It did not look as good as Rattlers or Knicks or even a couple of other quarterbacks that are like 6th, 7th or undrafted guys. So it's like, it's kind of it may have hurt his stock, but then again, you got guys. You don't want to like just base your opinion off of guys throwing in a t-shirt, shorts, and a quiet dome. You want to see the film. You want to see when they're playing in front of 60, 70,000 people in a primetime game. But yeah, Penix, in my opinion, Penix was the best quarterback at the combine. He had a rocket overthrow that he threw for like 60 yards. Didn't even look like he was trying, and the wide receiver like just I don't he threw to some no name wide receivers today and it showed. A lot of drop passes today on his moon shots that he had because those were like bombs. Um, Rattler had a better day than I expected. Ran a 4.96 at the combine. Yes, a 4.96. I thought he was faster than that. I thought he ran like a 4.8.
Whew.
Ran a 4.96.
Wasn't there someone that was like 360 pounds that ran like a 4.8 or something?
Oh, you mean the defensive lineman out of Florida State? Yeah,
Yeah.
4.78. He's 6'4", 355. Ran
It's
a
like,
4.78.
come on, man. What about
Yeah.
Bo Nix? You remember his?
Yeah, Bo Nix ran, I believe, a 4.8 something. If I'm pretty sure, let me go just check that right quick. Hold up.
It's about the same then.
I'm pretty sure he ran a 40 time. He ran a come on, I need you to pull up. I don't want to read all this, just pull up his 40 time. Um
Meanwhile, Manuel said, "How much do those examinations tell you without putting the body through duress? What are you going to learn from the old injuries?" We're not fully the best people to ask for this, but what I might guess is just like how your joints are, how's your motion, all that kind of
are you
stuff.
looking nervous like when you're in the pocket or whatever you're doing? Like are you like kind
Well,
of
he's
favoring?
he's talking about medical examinations.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess yeah, I guess you know the joints, how you move, how the whatever you hurt moves, how it looks after, does it like look more
Have you gone through that, Trey?
um
Something
with the
similar to that?
ACLs, yeah, with the ACLs, yeah. Knees kind of well thighs look a little stronger than they used to before, so
What'd they
that
have you
helps.
do?
Just kind of, I mean, really it's just measuring like how your leg moves and like what it looks like surgery, and then a couple months after surgery. So it's like just making sure that it's either not the same, worse, like it's getting better, you know. So that's the one thing that you always want to make sure of during the medical examinations is that whatever you hurt, like you let's say you tore ACL, you want to make sure that the muscles around that knee are stronger, not the same or worse than what they used to be when or before you tore it.
Yeah. And then obviously because you're a high schooler, whereas the NFL has way more technology
Yeah,
involved in that.
it tells you a
So
lot.
they
A
have
lot.
all sorts of crazy things
I mean,
without having to do too much.
I'm pretty sure the technology NFL could tell you how long your ACL is. Like that's just the amount of millions of dollars they put in technology just to make sure these players are good to go and how and what affects them to make sure that they like that doesn't affect them anymore. Like even in college too, like just the millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars they put in the medical for college sports and just sports in general was like insane.
Yeah. All right. So I think this is gonna be the person of like the next like 30 minutes. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Fields, but according to Pauline, inside of NFL Combine, he just stated that the Bears were going to send Fields to the Falcons. Allegedly. How do we feel about Justin? So here's my answer to that. With the conversations that Raheem Morris have had, that Arthur Blank has had, that Terry Fontenot has had, as well as some of the other players that we've seen, they have all been trying to set themselves into the win now mode. So I have to gauge not only the talent level, but how successful can this certain quarterback be, not only with the players that we have, but with the coaching staff that we brought in. Because we have a lot of people that are, you know, set on training the quarterbacks. A lot of quarterback coaches and a lot of trainers and all that kind of stuff. So I like the prospect of trying out a rookie this season in order so that we can have that chance to become a win now team. But I also know that they have a lot of experience with veteran quarterbacks to get them up to speed with their playbook and their scheme pretty fast as well. Which is why this is so difficult, when I could see this team winning with a veteran. I could also see this team just hit the ground running and getting that kind of CJ Stroud type of success just right away because of all the pieces that we have in front of them. But as far as Justin himself, he's kind of in that in-between section for me. He's not been in the league long enough for me to consider him a full, veteran yet. So he's still kind of a rookie, but he's got too much of a status to not be considered a rookie either. This isn't like a Jordan Love situation where he's been sitting for a little bit. No, he's been starting for 2.5 seasons at least, if we're not counting injuries. But as far as him being in the locker room, yeah, he's got 3 years of experience in Chicago Bears locker room. But what has that gotten him in comparison to where that's gotten the other quarterbacks that we've seen, say Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson or anybody else who want to consider that? I don't know. I'm not going to say that I completely dislike him right now, because everyone's been talking so open. It's just ridiculous to kind of close yourself off and being like, no, this guy's never going to get here. I don't want to have that kind of attitude right now. But I also want to make sure that we're making the right decision. Because if you're talking win now and you're grabbing a player that, for all intents and purposes, doesn't look ready to win now, then I'm going to be really concerned. Not to mention, we have the trade situation with Justin Fields, which I've already talked about before, where it's he's pretty much the path of most resistance in comparison to everyone else, where it's you can either just stay where you are at the draft and get him, or you can just sign a free agent and just take them for whatever kind of salary that you get, however expensive or how cheap that you want it to go. Whereas Justin is the only one you'd have to make moves, and not only make moves, but also probably extend him before you even see him on the field. And that's what I'm really concerned with. Because if we're trying to trade for him with the intent of being in a win-now situation, then he's going to want that kind of contract that suggests that he is a win-now quarterback. Because that doesn't make any sense if we're trying to keep him on the rookie deal. And then, he's our ticket to the playoffs. I don't think he's going to be fine with that. I don't think that we should be fine with trying to treat a quarterback like that either. So he's going to want his money. But I want to make sure that this is a fair trade or a fair deal for both sides, so that we're not in a position where we can't sign anybody else, as we've been talking about for the last couple of years, with other guys like Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson, which I don't think that we're in that kind of terrible situation. But it does get me concerned a little bit, especially when I see people like L'Jarius Sneed, or when I see guys like Mike Evans, or when I see guys like, I don't know, I just saw Tyron Smith earlier. It was he's getting cut. I don't know what the situation with J.C. Jackson is, because I know that he got released, but I don't know how good he is. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of players that are going to get cut. That's not to mention all the running backs that are just on the market all of a sudden, like Eckler and, So, yeah, if Kirk could ask for 45, Baker could ask for 40, and that's, you think that's high, but, well, Daniel Jones got that kind of contract, so Dak, I don't care. Yeah, Russ is getting cut, so he's going to be the cheapest option, which is why I've liked him up to this point. 25. I'd have to see though. I'd
No,
have to see. I don't know. I don't know if we can. Hmm.
now see the thing about that is though, guess who else fifth year option we have to decide on this year?
Well,
Kyle
that'd be this
Pitts.
year. So that,
Yeah, we up. They came out the same draft class, so you'd have to either decide: do you want to take Kyle Pitts' fifth year option or Justin Fields? Because you can't take both. We had that same situation last year with Jeff Okuda. It was like, do we take AJ or Jeff Okuda?
well, if it's between those two,
I mean, yeah, but it's like still though, like because it's like in my opinion, Kyle Pitts has proved more to me that with the right quarterback, he'll be a Hall of Famer one day. Justin Fields has proved to me that with the right wide receiver, he can get you 6 wins, 7 wins. Because even now, guaranteed, he missed 4 games. There were still games that he were in that they lost, where it's just like that's on you. Like you can't like there's no excuse for that. You know, and people trying to come up with all these excuses for like, well, he had Luke Getsy as his OC and he didn't have enough weapons and this and that. I mean, the same thing y'all are telling him that we have better weapons over here is the same thing over there. They don't have a wide receiver two. Really, their wide receiver two is light years better than us. I take Darnell Mooney over Mac Hollins any day. I don't care how y'all feel about him. I'll take Darnell Mooney over Mac Hollins any day. Now, DJ Moore over Drake London, yeah, for right now, I feel like Drake London with the right quarterback could be as good as DJ Moore. Cole Kmet over Kyle Pitts, maybe. That's a hard maybe though. Both of those guys are pretty good. The only thing really separating us and the Bears is our offensive line. And to be honest, that offensive line, even though they were quote unquote terrible, there were a lot of plays where it's just like, let the ball go. Or why are you running into a defensive lineman? If y'all watched that Buccaneers game, he ran into about 4 sacks where it's like, what in Jesus' name are you doing? Like I said, I would not be excited or upset if Justin Fields came here, but it's like we're praying on an if, you know, like this is what we're doing. Like now, every quarterback that you either draft or sign is an if. Let's not let me not get that wrong, but it's
yeah,
like he's been in the league for 3 years, going on 4. The improvements that y'all have said he's had improved, I don't see it a lot. I mean, what's the improvements? He can throw a better ball, but I mean, it's just he can throw a better deep ball here and there. I mean, like what's the improvements? The stats are almost the same. He missed 5 games, and I mean, it's just like I mean, if you think about it too, the same thing we said about Lamar Jackson that some of y'all didn't want Lamar last year was because he was injury prone. Justin Fields has missed almost the same amount of games as Lamar Jackson in the last 2 years. He missed 3 games. No, excuse me. He missed 4 games in 2022. He missed 5 games this year. So it's like I said, Fields isn't. I'm not. I want to be excited, but I can't hate on it. But that is a riskier move than bringing Cousins because it's like, okay, you passed up on Penix, you passed up on trying to trade up to get May or Daniels, you passed up on Cousins maybe to trade a second or third round pick to get Fields, and it blew up in your face terribly. And like I said, I don't know, Noah, you might feel the same about this. You might have said this a couple weeks ago or months ago, but we're tired of taking people's trash and trying to turn it into treasure. Okay? We're tired. We're tired of it. This happens every offseason. I heard some people say that we wanted Shaq Barrett. What do we want Shaq Barrett for? He's 31 years old and coming off a torn Achilles trying to be an edge rusher. He wasn't really that good this year, if we're being honest. Caleb McGarry whooped him this year, both times. He whooped them both times. So it's like what are we doing here? You know? Like what's all the hype about Justin Fields for? Like I've been asking people this, and it's well, he's 25. We get him here. He's gonna take us to the playoffs. He's better than Ritter. Who isn't better than Desmond? I mean, come on, let's be honest. I love Desmond and Dev, but who isn't better than Desmond? I mean, come on, man. Like Desmond was probably a top 5, one of the top 5 worst quarterbacks this year. If you're trying to say he's better than Desmond, that's not a flex. You're supposed to be. I hope you're better than Desmond Ritter. I hope. Desmond got us nowhere this year. I love Desmond to death. I wanted him to succeed, but he didn't. What's what's the point? That's all I really hear. Oh, he's better than Desmond. Oh, he's better at running him. He's better. He's a better runner than him. Okay, I don't need him to run. He can run if he needs. So I need him to pass the ball. I need him to make the gutsy throws, the tight throws, and to lead us to a game-winning on a game winner when it's time. I need him to make the right reads and not turn the ball over and not have these dumb interceptions he's had in the last 3 years. That's what I want. That's what we need. I don't need somebody to come in here and be 2 spots better than Desmond. Oh, Desmond's 29th. Justin Fields is 25th. So we got it right. Oh, he's from Atlanta. We need to bring him on down here. No, I'm tired of hearing that excuse. Same reason I'm tired of hearing Kirk Cousins down here. People use he's from Atlanta. I don't care if he's from Antarctica. If he's good, he's good. I'm tired of that's one thing I'm tired of. If you are from Atlanta, I don't care if you're good or bad. Stop using that excuse to try to get somebody to come down here. Please. If he's from Georgia, stop using that excuse to try to tell us we need to draft him. I'm so tired of hearing that. Noah, that's like saying if you were a Rams fan and somebody said, "Oh, we should sign Tom Brady because he's from LA." What? Let's say Tom Brady wasn't the GOAT. Let's just say Tom Brady was like a fringe quarterback. Oh, let's bring Tom Brady because he's from LA. Does that sound right to you? Does that sound like a good plan to you just to bring a guy because he's from your city?
No.
So what? Why are
now,
we
maybe marketing, maybe like a publicity stunt or something locally happening, but that's not a national thing. But I also get that. I mean, the whole LA situation is not going to properly translate because the South is way much more of a college football area than the West ever will be. So I can't use that. But what I will say is you also kind of said that earlier about Kirk Cousins where it's like his wife is from Atlanta. And it's like, dude, now we're not even talking about the player. We're talking about family members of the player that are from that area. Like, why do I need to know that?
We don't care. Is his wife going to pad up for us and bring us to a Super Bowl?
We don't say that about coaches. Did anyone tell me the hometown of Raheem Morris?
Oh yeah, Raheem Morris is from Texas. He used to go be the Dallas Cowboys head coach. Like what? Huh? That's what we doing now? Really? Bijan is from Arizona. I think he's doing just fine in Atlanta. I think he's doing just great. Do you think he's doing great in Atlanta, Noah?
Yeah.
I think he's doing just fine. I think he's doing just great.
So, yeah.
Man, I had to let that run out. Had to. Been holding that in for a while.
Scotty, he's on the roster still. That's why I'm like, hey, you never know when he's going to get back on the field.
Anything.
But it's going to be the longest road for him to go back to, out of all this conversation, out of all this talk, out of all these expectations, it just gets so much worse for him to get back on the field knowing he would be quarterback 1.
I mean, after hearing him
if you really like him, then you would understand that he needs to be in this position right now. He needs to get in the back seat and just close with another driver. I don't want him in the driver's seat because I don't think that anybody else is going to take that kind of mental expectation and all the criticism that's going to come a part of it. That's the other thing you have to consider too. Like, who is willing to take the Atlanta fan base head on? I wouldn't want it to be Desmond after that. especially after all these quarterback rumors. It's just super unfair.
And then to top it all off with a cherry, Raheem Morris saying if number 9 played
Oh,
better,
he's from Jersey. Oh, okay, yeah. Let him be the Giants or Jets coach.
be a perfect Jets guy. But yeah, like, did you see the quote where Raheem Morris said that if the quarterback play was better last year, he wouldn't be standing at that podium?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's
and
true. It's true. If the quarterback play
and
was
I'm
better, Arthur would still be our head coach.
yeah, and I'm glad that he said that because I don't really treat that as like a stab at Ritter. But he needs to understand, Ritter needs to understand that, and he knows that better than anybody. That wasn't good enough.
Nowhere near.
It just wasn't. Right? Was he put in a bad spot because of Arthur Smith? Most likely. Because of Dave Ragone and all these other things that were going on happening? Sure, I'll give him that. But that still isn't enough for him, like, post-snap decision making. It's just not there for him. And I don't want another quarterback to come in here with higher expectations because we've been preaching all offseason that this is one now, only for him to have the same exact problem. I want a guy that has a better decision maker. So give me that person that I can trust where it's like, hey, if I'm in a passing situation, I'll be fine with him. And this is why a lot of these ifs from rookies are going to exist every single season. Which is why I like veteran prospects here. But is one always going to be better than the other? No. So that's the gamble. But it happens no matter what.
Now I could see if they were like, okay, let's sign a Kirk Cousins or a Russell Wilson and let them teach Ritter and see what happens. Now that would be the biggest gamble you could take out of like every quarterback scenario you have. That would be like the biggest gamble you could take. Because it's like after what just happened, after how the fan base feels about Desmond Ritter right now, like as a whole, I mean, you have a couple people that says with better coaching, Desmond Ritter could have been something. In my opinion, he could have. If you gave Desmond Ritter the amount of quarterback coaches and the amount of quarterback help that we have on this coaching staff right now, I feel like Desmond Ritter probably would have been a top 15, 20 quarterback this year. Because he showed flashes of it, And then he had those flashes where you throw straight to a defender when you're trying to escape a Panthers defensive end. Had those flashes where you just fumble the ball right at the 1 yard line. I mean, it's like it was like so many goods but so many bads to where it's like you can't really you're not gonna bribe Arthur Blank, Terry Fontenot, or the Falcons fan base and say we're gonna bring in Zach Robinson and hope he can fix Desmond. Like you're not gonna sell the team with that. Even though the team may love him, but I mean, we all know Jesse Bates is like, yeah, Desmond leading us again. Bijan is like, Desmond leading us again. I love him, but Kyle, he's like, man, it's my contract year. I can't really have a quarterback like Desmond messing me up. Like, like that's where it's kind of getting at,
Let me ask you this, Emmanuel. Should we entertain the idea to give Chicago Desmond Ritter? Or should any other team consider taking Ritter from us? As either more trade capital or something? Because I don't think anybody else is entertaining the idea for that. Now, someone else that's on the trade block is Zach Wilson. Do you think we can fix him? Also in a bad situation for a couple of years. What about Trey Lance?
Sam Darnold.
Mac Jones.
Baker Mayfield. Pre-Bucks. Now, like I've said, and like many have said, there are some cases where quarterbacks got fixed. Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, the list kind of stops right there in the last couple. Like, like that's the one thing, like the main thing I'm tired of like trying to see. Let's go fix him. Let's go see if we can. Let's bet our coaching careers, our first year, coming back home. Raheem Morris, this is you coming back home. Remember, this is you coming back home. Okay, your first year back, the fan base loves you. I want you to really think, do we want to try to fix someone's mistake on what they did to somebody else? Because that's the
and
hardest
if
thing you can do.
and again, if we want to go that route, then stick with who we have already.
I mean, let's not act like Justin Fields was just light years better than Desmond Ritter. Did he have a couple
But
better games? Yeah, but like even still, like you could Desmond Ritter, Justin Fields was a game better than Desmond Ritter, for being honest. And head to head, yeah, he was better because Desmond Ritter was benched. The Bears literally put all their coins into Justin Fields, like we don't they didn't have a Taylor Heineke that they can fall back on. So it was either Fields, or we're just gonna just say F it and put a backup in. But like now you just look lost as a coaching staff, Now you look like Arthur Smith. That's the reason Arthur Smith got fired. We had no quarterback stability, and that's the one thing you cannot have in this league. Well, you have to have in this league is quarterback stability. You want you cannot be the team that you're just flipping quarterbacks out in and out every 2 weeks. Like, no, like that's not just embarrassing, but now you look bad as a coach. Because it's like, well, if even the backup can't even look better, what are you doing now? What are you doing? You know?
okay, so Emmanuel, thanks for your answer. He said no, keep Ritter. Like he said, we saw flashes of greatness. I think Arthur Smith was the whole problem for us last season, quarterback play and otherwise. You think Chicago could say the same thing about Justin Fields then? Again,
That's
they
really
don't have to trade anybody. They
they
could
don't
just
even
stay at 1-9
and
and
take
then
more of
bolster
the
their
season.
offense so much better. If he's the guy that they really want, they don't have to do anything to get him because they already have him. It is up to us to try to pry Justin Fields out of Chicago. Now, could Justin Fields be like, yeah, I'm willing to do it? Yeah, but it's not his power. So if everything leans in that direction where, Justin is kind of the middle of both, where it's like, hey, he's established, he's got 3 years of NFL experience, but he's also got he's got a lot of years left in his career in a similar way that a rookie will, then they don't have to do anything. And that's the problem. Like, you would have to do something in order to have that trade happen. Now, could it just be a pick 8 or 9 swap and then a 43rd and that's it? We don't know. That hasn't come to fruition yet. Let's say that does happen, though. Let's entertain the idea. Let's say that we can get Justin Fields for the 8th pick, 43rd. We get the 9th. And then let's say that number of $25 million is the correct salary for him for this year. So now we have to look at who is at number 9. We could stay there, given the fact that we wanted to be aggressive. That's the word that I kept hearing about this whole search for a quarterback, is everyone wants to be aggressive at it. Is that the most aggressive move in order to improve this team? What's everyone else think?
No. I've seen something earlier where it's like, okay, you trade, like let's say you trade that Jags third rounder for Justin Fields. and then you end up taking Michael Penix at 8. Now you're kind of screwed. Because let's think about this for a second. Let's say Fields, let's say the hype around Fields is true. Let's say he turns out to be this top 12, top 10 quarterback. You find your quarterback of the future. You just wasted your 8th pick on a backup quarterback. You know, like you could have had Dallas Turner. You could have. Let's say Malik Neighbors was right there, and you took him. You took him over Brock Bowers. You took him over Terrion Arnold. Took him over Latutu. You took him over Jared Verse. You took him over J.C. Latham.
Heck, if you wanted to get your next left tackle, Joe Alt.
Olufushanu, you know? I mean, you took him
Romo
over
Dunes.
Roma Dunze. So it's like there's so many ways you could go this year. But it's like, to me, for me, when you hire 19 quarterback coaches, let's think about 19 coaches on this on this staff, either coached the quarterback, played quarterback, or did both. They have some type of familiarity with a quarterback. I don't think you do that and you say, let's go veteran. In my opinion, I don't think you do that and say, let's go sign a Kirk Cousins, let's go sign a Russell Wilson and see if they can take us to the promised land or at least take us to the playoffs. I don't think you do that. I think they're doing that to they're either trying to trade up heavy, they're trying to get to number 3 or number 2 or even number 1, or they're going to trade back, take a quarterback, or they're just going to stay there and take their quarterback. I mean, sometimes you just have to have faith that it may look like a reach, but at the end of the day, you know, it's the right pick. I mean, the Josh Allen pick looked like a reach when they first got it. Now he's the top 5 quarterback in the league. People were saying Patrick Mahomes shouldn't have went top 10. Now he's a 3-time Super Bowl champion, you know? So sometimes you just have to take your guy.
And as far as like the whole situation, I don't think that they would be set with either one or the other. They also can go both. Like what we're saying. Like you could get the vet because Russell Wilson would be the cheapest option. He's the path of least resistance. That's what I said before. Because you don't have to do anything to get him, and then you don't have to pay him a whole lot because Denver's taking care of the contract. So you can get him, and then if you don't want him to start, and then if you just want to sit there or be as aggressive as you want to be everywhere else, cool. Now you have like 2 different options at quarterback. But one could just be brought in there to be another sideline mentor to go along with the now then 20 quarterback helpers. But I think where this also came from is knowing how successful they got with Matthew Stafford. So Zach Robinson was able to take a quarterback that's been in Detroit since 2009, and in first year with him, goes all the way. Could they have done that with a rookie? We don't know yet. But do you want to see that happen first rather than a vet? Because then we can just take any veteran conversations as far as quarterback 1. We can take any vet quarter conversation out the window and just strictly talk about rookies. And if that's the case, I don't like being that close-minded.
Now, there's also a case to where, okay, I want your opinion on this. So there were reports earlier that Jaden Daniels is our QB, like the best quarterback on our board right now. That's who we have ranked as 1. I don't know who 2 and 3 is. Of course, no one ever really knows until somebody releases it. Usually it's Terry Fontenot who releases his board and tells you where he had players. Usually, most of the time when we select a player, it's the best player we got on our board. I don't really think we've reached for anybody. Well, we haven't reached for anybody really other than Jalen Mayfield and maybe 2 or 3 other people. But let's say we trade up to 3, right? And Jaden Daniels is gone. Do you think they are okay with taking May at that number 3 spot?
Let's see what chat says first. So if Jaden Daniels is already gone, or we're also assuming that Caleb Williams will be gone too, right?
Yeah, he goes 1.
What do you guys think about Drake May? Or you could just be Billy Mills and say Bo Nix.
I'd rather take Penix at 8 over Bo Nix. Even though Bo Nix had a good combo, I still take Penix over Nix. Penix is my QB5.
All right, so we got one yes with May, and we have immediately afterwards one no on May. There's as many opinions with this as there are people watching. So we got another yes for May. We got another reluctantly saying okay.
Inaccurate is kind of
I
insane.
I could see that. You know, if you're trading to 3, there's a good chance that you were trying to trade for 1 and 2, and that you could just be fine with the third option. But you're also putting yourself in a little bit of a
Leftover card, like whoever y'all two don't select, we're just gonna take.
yeah, and that hasn't really panned out for the one that was like waiting to see what happens.
Yeah.
Unless if you were just last year with CJ Stroud. Like that was like the pretty much one of the only times I can remember that happening for the team that was waiting to get their guy, and then they panned out better than the second or the first.
Because I think the Texans were dead set on either Bryce or Stroud. It was like we're either one we're happy with, because either one would have went first in any of the draft class in like the last 2 years.
And then wasn't it like there was someone from the Panthers that was like, oh no, I didn't want Stroud because of something.
Oh, the GM or my fault. Yeah, the GM. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, no, my fault. That was the owner. That was the owner that said that. That said
Oh really?
they didn't want Bryce Young. They wanted Stroud, but they wanted some other people in the higher brass wanted Young, so they all agreed that yeah, we're just gonna take Young. But then went on to say that we're not upset or we're not regretting the pick. We still think Young's going to be a franchise quarterback. After that, you just have to delete your whole franchise because you literally just said you don't even want the guy you took first. You had your choice of all 400 eligible draftees in the draft. You took the one guy you wanted, or at least we all thought you wanted, and then go out a year later and say, oh, yeah, we didn't want him. We wanted Stroud, but we didn't take him. I bet you Stroud right now is thanking God to the all above that the Panthers were like, yeah, we're going to take Bryce.
Yeah, it was Dave Tepper.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted Young. I don't know why. I thought it was Dave Gettleman. Ain't no way he's on a. Is he on the staff somewhere? He better not be.
I forgot Dave Gettleman even existed after what he did.
Speaking of someone that didn't exist, Glenn Dorsey.
Glad we took Matt over.
Oh yeah, I mean he was a third quarterback, or he was first quarterback, third overall pick. So
now the thing is, though, this is why owners need to sit back and let the coaching staff and the scouts do what they do, because clearly they were right to want Stroud. Now, the thing people always bring up, and it's a kind of a thing I always bring up, is what would Stroud would have been with Adam Thielen and DJ Chark in that terrible offensive line? It probably wouldn't. I can't really say he would have been better, because it's like everyone, like literally everyone, other than a couple of people at Bryce Young gets their number one quarterback, even the year before the year even started off, like before college football even started off, they had Bryce Young as their number one. So it's like you put him in the Texans. I can't really say that the Texans wouldn't have went to the playoffs because I think Bryce Young is just that talented. You put the right pieces around, I think he gets you to the playoffs.
Well, that's kind of the other situation too. Is like the way that the draft is set up. You know, the best players are going to go to the worst situations.
That's the sad part about the draft. Sad part.
You know, unless anything else drastic happens, like the big trades.
Yeah.
You know, because then we could ask, like, oh, hey, well, what would Bryce Young look like in Houston? Would he be just as good as CJ?
Maybe better. We didn't like. That's just one thing we'll like never know.
So it's the whole Trubisky and Mahomes kind of thing. All over
And
again.
Deshaun Watson. Can't even forget Deshaun Watson, even though I mean what he is now, but like that 2017 to 2022 Deshaun Watson was like pretty good. Well, not 2022, really 2021.
Yeah, 21. Yeah. Or is just 2020? I don't
Might
think he
be
played in
20.
21. I think
Oh
he
yeah,
got like suspended 1 year and then he just sat out another year.
yeah. No, he sat out 1 year. No. So when he got traded, he missed the first 11 games. That's what it was. He only played like the last 5 games. Yeah, so he missed the first 11 games because of suspension. And then this year he missed like the last 10 because of that shoulder injury he had. Oh, I'm so glad we didn't trade for
Okay,
that.
by the way, you're talking about pass rusher Josh Allen. Just want you to know. I just want everyone else to know as well.
Man, that's also a thing I wanted to bring up. So let's say you trade for Justin Fields, right? Let's just say that deal, well, the report that the deal is almost finalized. Let's say we trade like a third for Fields, right? That 74th pick. You go and sign a Brian Burns in free agency or a Josh Allen in free agency. One of those two in free agency. Because it doesn't look like either one's getting franchise tag at the moment. Haven't heard any rumors about them being franchise tag. So if that happening, let's say Roma Dunze or Dallas Turner is available at 8. Which one would y'all take? And this is for the chat too.
For me, probably Rome.
To be honest, I love the best player available mentality that we've done. But like the hairs you'd have to split between Rome and Dallas Turner is like for me, it's kind of big. For other people, it's like, oh yeah, I'm taking Rome just off talent alone. Because Daniel Jeremiah has Rome Dunze right as his third best player in the entire draft. Like that's above.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? Because you're trying to say that you would either get Dallas Turner and then you're going to sign another pass rusher anyways. But then you're kind of stunting the growth of some of the other people we already have, like Ebiketie.
And Malone.
I'd want him to be a starter because I want him to have more reps because when he had, the kind of the smaller scale playing sample, he did better. He was way more efficient than anybody else.
6 sacks, and he only started 4 games this year, I think.
Yeah, like that's not enough.
I think if he would have started more games, he probably would have hit 10 sacks. That rampage he was on that last 6-game stretch was like actually insane. Really, after we came out the bye week, like it kind of started before the bye week, like he was getting pressure, he just wasn't like finishing it. After that bye week, he started finishing a lot more sacks. He was better in the run game too.
I would trust the development that we have there too, at least on one side. On the other side, yeah, maybe if you don't like Bud Dupree anymore, I mean, he's a free agent, so maybe if you don't want to re-sign him, if you don't want to re-sign Lorenzo Carter, because I think he's also some free agent, then you can kind of secure the other side. But would you want either Dallas Turner like instead, or no? Well, I guess we'll kind of say it like this. Would you want Dallas Turner or would you want like a Josh Allen or something like that?
Well, I'm taking Josh Allen 10 out of 10. I think they're the same player though. Like that's I think Dallas Turner and Josh Allen are literally the same player. Now, if you want to bring in a contract, it's like, do you want a cheaper Josh Allen? Like that's the only thing you can really say because I like they literally have the same build. Like they're both 6'2". Josh Allen's about 260. Dallas Turner's about 255. Josh Allen ran like a 4.5 in his combine. Dallas ran a 4.45. So like they're literally like the same player, just came out of different colleges.
Yeah, Danielle Hunter, I don't know. I feel like we've had several chances to get Danielle Hunter.
Because weren't we supposed to trade for this dude last year?
Yeah, he was on the trade block for like all 8 weeks.
And all of a sudden, they were just like, nope, never mind. We're going to keep him. Ended up leading the league in sacks, too. Crazy part. Now, see, the only thing I have on him is like, I'd rather sign an Allen or Burns over him because he's getting ready to turn 30. Allen and Burns are getting ready to turn like 25, 26.
True.
So it's like the age thing. You want to include that, you know? Yeah, Dallas Turner 6'4". Yeah. How am I a Bama fan? I forgot that. No, because I'm thinking of the thing they had set up on the combine. They said it was 6'2", 240. I mean, not 247, 252. He doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like with Dallas Turner, the only kind of concern you have to have is him in the run game because, like people are saying, he's like a smaller defensive end. Like he's not in that 260, 270 range. So
yeah, then where's Mac? Mac is. I don't know. What do you think about Khalil Mack right now?
I'm iffy on it because I was getting ready to say he had double-digit sacks, but the only reason he did is because he had like a 6-sack game early in the season, and then he like kind of went ghost for a while. I mean,
that was against Oakland, right?
Yeah, when like week 6, week
Vegas.
5.
I keep saying Oakland. Jeez.
But yeah, he was like that was like week 5, week 6. Had like 6 sacks against Oakland, and then after that he had like 7
Vegas.
sacks. I mean, yeah, against Vegas, yeah, they had like 6 or 7 sacks over like the next rest of the season. So I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, Mac is 33.
Yeah.
That's
like you're not gonna get him for long. Like it's like another Calais Campbell situation. It's like, are you signing him for like veteran presence, or are you signing him saying you can go all in? Because we said that with Calais Campbell, and we see how that went out over the season. So
then again, I do think like out of everybody that would ring chase and would think to go here in order to do that, I would want Khalil Mack to get something like that.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I think the thing is though, with him being 33, I think he's gonna go to like a team in the AFC. Like completely honest with you. I think he's gonna try to go to like a Chiefs or Ravens or Bills or Dolphins type of team. Because he's like, if you've noticed these last couple of years, these guys are turning like 30, 31, 32, 33. They're ring chasing. Now, Calais Campbell, probably one of the only older veterans I haven't seen try to ring chase, like ever. Like
he was culture chasing.
Yeah, he was just trying to get 100. If we're being honest, he was like, "What team can I do this with? That's kind of well known, you know." So that's one.
Although with Burns, that would be pretty funny.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Imagine we play the Panthers' first game again and he gets a sack on Bryson on the first play. That'd be actually kind of funny. I'd pay money to see that, to be honest. I really would. I really would.
But yeah, I do want Abicati to start. I think getting back Grady Jarrett from injury and then seeing more of him and Onyemata, that'd be really cool. Zach Harrison was really good late in the season too. So we'll have to see how that goes. I don't know. I mean, I always want to get better everywhere as often as I can, but sometimes I don't know if I want to spend too much resources only to get slightly better. And that's kind of the theme for the show, secretly. Like I don't want to give up too much to only end up marginally better. Or, what we've been doing the same 3 seasons in a row, just end up with the same win-loss record regardless.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of 7 wins. Like 8, like
I'm
I'd
kind
even
of
be
tired
happy.
of 10 losses.
Yeah, like this is like, and then the sad thing is, it's like every year, it's like we're getting like, so 2021 we got blown out in like 3 games. 2022 we got blown out in 1 game. 2023 we didn't get blown out at all. So it's like, can we finally just have a winning season? Like, please, please, you know, y'all just, I see the improvements. I see it. I see it. Now we just have to be on the side where it's like we're winning the game and not saying, oh dang, we were this close, guys. This close. Like I'm tired of that. Now we sound like, have you ever heard somebody's mom or dad, or like your mom or dad tell you, like when you had a game, or like, well, you guys will get it next time. Don't worry. You guys are just starting off. Like you guys are just starting off. Like I feel like that's us. I feel like that, like we're the kids.
Okay, I would say that we just straight up gave up on the season. Like
Yeah.
we already knew our situation. Look,
At that point,
when we had the ability to make the playoffs a lot
they were
more,
they were trying. You can see it. That defense was pouring their hearts out.
but we don't talk about that game. But we also experienced a blowout that we got to another that we gave to another team with the Indy.
Yeah,
So
we
there's
blew out.
that.
That was, see, like that's what we should have been the entire season. Like that, like no turn. That was the game we had no turnovers. The defense got scored on once, and we had like we had a
And
pick.
that was the first like 5 minutes of the game too.
Yeah, we were getting picks, we were getting sacks, we were getting turned. Like we were doing anything we wanted that game. No turnovers. Bijan was getting the ball. Kyle was getting the ball. Drake was getting the ball. Algier had a career game that game. So it's like, why couldn't we do that all year? And then that game actually came out. I was like, okay, we're starting to walk in. So let's go beat Chicago. Then Chicago puts 37 on us. And I'm like, okay, let's hope the Buccaneers lose and we beat the Saints. Then the Saints put up 31 on their points on this in the second half. So it's like, you know what? Just end the season, please. Just end the season.
Yeah, that was Heineke for that game.
Yeah.
But I mean, we kicked a lot of field goals. Jalen Simpson, talked to him twice now. I also saw we had a conversation with Nate Wiggins, who ran like a 4.29 as a corner.
Yeah. Terrion Arnold too. We talked to Terrion Arnold, I'm pretty sure. Or is another D. It may not have been Terrion, but I know we talked to another DB. We talked to a lot of guys over the last couple of days. I'm kind of intrigued.
Well, I mean, we wanted speed on our defense as well, so
that is one thing Mr. Lake said we would have. We're going to be fast, physical. Finish it off for me, Noah. Fast, physical.
I don't want to.
Oh man, but I got scared. I was like, no, not this again, please, no, please change the model. God, please change the model, please.
We're gonna be speedy and aggressive. How about that? Fast and furious.
Man, I mean, he promised us more speed on the defense. So I'm like, okay, we're probably gonna try to like target a cornerback that's like running the 4.4s, 4.3s. Because I mean, to be honest, we have speed in the back end, but it's not like like that like burner speed. Now, though I don't really care how fast you are as a DB as long as you can cover. I mean, Stephon Gilmore really isn't like the fastest DB out there, but he's like one of the best corners in the league. D. Coleman, man, you have to do it. Man. You have to do it.
I'm just gonna forever remember hearing this come out of Dan Quinn, like he has a lisp or something.
I swear, if I hear let's say, like, I know we're gonna lose a game this year. Like, no team is probably ever gonna go 17 or 16 ever again. But I swear, if I hear Jimmy Lake in an interview say, "Man, the guys were so mad after the game, and we're all pretty mad, man, and we're gonna bounce back," and I know these guys are gonna bounce back. If I hear that, I'm turning the interview off. I'm skipping to whoever is next, or if he's the end of the video, I'm turning the video off. It's like, bro, like, you don't know how many times I heard that over the last 6 years. Man, the guys are so mad, man. Like, we're gonna bounce back. I promise you guys. These guys are they're gonna fight. They're gonna play fast. They're gonna play physical. That's the
We're gonna
point.
play. We're gonna play fist. We're gonna play fastical.
We're like that's the point. If we're not doing that, which we haven't been doing that, we're gonna lose. You know. So, oh yeah.
How's
So
it going,
also,
Andrew?
so I had a question for you, and the rest of you guys can answer this too. So I was thinking about this when Jimmy Lake was hired, and really when Raheem was hired too. Um, but somebody brought this back up. I was watching a YouTube video, I think yesterday. So Raheem Morris has been across a lot of schemes. He's been across the cover three sky scheme and the cover two scheme with Dan Quinn. He's been across the man scheme back there in Tampa, the send all out blitz scheme in the early Tampa days. Of course, when he came to uh, LA, they were running a lot of quarters coverage and cover two man when Brandon Staley was there. So, like, what do you think we're mostly going to run? Because Jimmy Lake was talking about us running a 3-4 in his interview. The first interview he had, he was like, we're most likely going to run like a 3-4 type of defense. So, like, what do you really see out of that right there? Like, what scheme do you think we probably run?
Uh probably still 3-4, because we don't have the kind of coverage outside linebackers that would credit us for having a 4-3 yet, and we don't have the kind of DN size to be a 4-3. Like Zach Harrison and Grady Jarrett, like having those guys as kind of technically DNs. Like, that's not going to fit for a 4-3. But it does fit for a 3-4. The only problem is that we don't really have like a beefy defensive tackle, because Onyemata is more of like a slimmer guy. He's not going to be someone that's going to clog up the middle like we would want a 3-4 D tackle to be.
I kind of expect us to target that. Like, if they actually like want a like true 3-4 defense, I feel like they might target that during the offseason or in the draft, because if this draft class is like pretty heavy in like the cloggers. Like,
so heck, maybe get that guy from Florida State.
Yeah, you got the I can't remember anybody's names. You got a guy from Texas that's pretty good that you could probably draft late first, early second. The guy from Florida State. There's a guy at Ohio State that I was watching film on earlier. That's it's probably gonna go like around that 79 to like early fourth round range. So yeah, there's like a lot of cloggers or like just a lot of big guys that can rush the passer in the middle of the defense, which you kind of need. I love a Vita Vea type, I would like. You just don't know what I do to get Vita Vea on this team, man. Like, that would be just straight domination after seeing what he did to Drew Darman last year. That was that was not pretty at all. But yeah. So also,
Real quick for me. Just another reminder. We are making a trip to Atlanta. It's going to be about a week long, at least 5 days, 4 nights, 4 days, 5, however we kind of schedule that out. I'm heading over there middle of July-ish. I'll give you more details on like when the exact week is, so that if we want to plan anything, if we want to prepare anything, if you guys want to set something up, by the time that we get there, I don't know what's going to happen, but I just want you guys to know that I will be visiting. It's going to be around July. I'm going to get cooked because I don't have the kind of wardrobe yet for the for the Atlanta weather over there, especially mid-July. But I just wanted to let you guys know now, since probably have like the most amount of people watching right now. So yeah, I'm excited for that. So yeah, I'd like to, meet as many of you guys as possible. If you guys want to, if you guys are interested in that.
Never know. Might just have a pop up video, have a little in person live stream. You never know. Might see my face
Yeah.
for the first time. Haven't shown my face since last draft. So you guys might see it.
Or since you had to drink that drink.
Or yeah, or that. Yeah. So it's been a while. It has been a while. Um, but yeah, if you guys do want to see that, I'm pretty sure we could set something up. That's usually there. I've kind of scoped out the football season. So you got September through February. Those are the most exciting months of football season because those are the most exciting months of football. You got head tops, impossible catches, career years, breakout players that break out for 1 year and then you'll never hear about them again the next year. So yeah, got those. Then you got March. Really, you got the end of February. Really, after the Super Bowl, those are like your two most boring weeks. There's no combine, there's no nothing, just straight.
Maybe retirements or something like that.
Yeah, retirements. Yeah, usually you get those like early, like after the Super Bowl. Okay, late March. I mean, late April. Late February, early March. Of course, you got your combine. Mid March all the way to really,
Late
the top free
April.
agents. Yeah, usually the top free agents are going to like the first 2 weeks. Of course, you have those stragglers that are usually like asking for too much and they don't get signed until like mid-April, maybe like. When did Javon Clowney get signed? He's a great example. He's like a perfect example.
Probably
Javon
middle
Clowney,
of the season. I don't
yeah,
remember.
Javon Clowney got signed. Like he got signed after the draft and like mid training camp, then got cut and then went to the Browns and was on there for the rest of the season after like that. Oh, like a
I
2 weeks
mean,
before that
the
first week.
the re-signings and extensions. I mean, that's pretty much whenever you want, I guess, because Nick Bosa was like day of he got extended.
Julio Jones was literally the day before we played the Vikings that first game back in 2019. So yeah, that is it's pretty random. But usually the months of March, I can't even really say March because you got free agency. So really, them last 2 weeks of March, really March, May, and June are like your most boring football months. Of course, July you got training camp, but that doesn't really start to like the last week of July. And then August you got preseason, so I guess you got some type of football, even though it may be watered down to the like absolute max. But hey, football is football. That's all we can really ask for. Football is football, especially when the Falcons do good in the preseason. I love it, even though half of the guys that I root for won't even be on the
I
team.
mean, not to mention like this is just on an NFL schedule. There's different leagues now, so got to get used to hearing that. I was just introduced to the American Ice Football. You heard about that?
Didn't even know that existed.
Yeah. Let me look this up. American Ice Football. Let me just share my screen with you real quick, because then you can see. Oh, hang on. Yeah, see, here's the field.
Wow, that is unique. I'm not gonna lie to you. That is unique. Didn't even know that existed. Oh yeah, actually, we still do have football during March and April. You got the CFL and the UFL. Yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah, I would never play it, but I would sure as heck watch it.
Oh yeah, that looks interesting to say the least. Does that like usually go on like during the summer or like is that something like you know?
I don't know their schedule. Let's see. And it's probably just like a winter thing.
Well,
Hang on. Oh, got a schedule here. Let me see this. Yeah, it's from. Yeah, it's pretty much matching the same schedule as the NFL. So it's like early September to late December or mid December.
good enough. Some notes I can watch. Okay, so I had a question for you. I meant to ask earlier. This just hit my mind back up.
Okay.
So Zach Robinson, our offensive coordinator, as you all know, he used to work for PFF. Then what was that? 2021, he went to the Rams.
Rams.
Yeah. So in that draft, he was one of the first people that was actually high on Justin Herbert. Of course, he liked Tua and Joe Burrow, but he actually had Justin Herbert as his number 2 quarterback that year. And Tua Tagovailoa was number 3. And as we've seen, I mean, you can't really say Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than Tua just because, I mean, unless you want to, compare careers. Tua's been to the playoffs more times, I guess. Well, not really Tua himself, but the team he led has been to the playoffs more times. But there is a guy that you guys, well, one person said that was very inaccurate. That is very, very, very similar to Justin Herbert, maybe a little bit skinnier but faster, and that is Drake May. Now, Drake May, in my opinion, is quarterback 2. I would take him in a heartbeat if we traded up for him, or if he somehow slipped to number 8. I would literally run a 4 flat to get that to the podium. Wouldn't even take any cost of Trey back for that because there's no way I'm taking cost of Trey back for that. But yeah, how would that's just one quarterback I could see fitting Zach Robinson's scheme. And maybe he likes him, maybe he's high on him too. Like I said, we aren't in the meeting, so we don't know who this guy likes, who he thinks is the best guy to lead this team and lead his offense in a way. So yeah, I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, I think another thing that's like really underlooked is his run scheme that he was using. Because do we want this team to be quarterback first and then like running back later? Like, do we want to be pass first and pass often, or do we want to, stick with our run game that we've been advertising for the past 2 years?
I mean, the pass first thing got us to. Well, I can't even really say that was pass first because we were like play action that year. So well, can you really say we were pass first? Because Matt Ryan did have like 4,500 passing yards that year.
Yeah, it's hard to have stats like that and be considered a run first team.
Yeah, so
especially when I don't like we didn't have 1,000-yard rusher until Algier.
I thought Tevin Coleman and Devontae Fairmont combined for like 2,000 yards that year.
For
or was
when?
that 2017? Oh, let me go check. I'm pretty sure they combined for at least over like 1,700 yards that year, though. Hold on. Devontae Freeman. Dang it. No, I don't want to type Freeman. 2016.
I actually don't remember Tevin Coleman ever getting to 1,000. I think he was close, but
Hold up. All right, there we are. Okay, yeah, Devontae Freeman had 1,079 rushing yards. Tevin Coleman had. Oh yeah, so yeah, they combined for 1,500. I think how many touchdowns?
Tevin was closest in 2018 with 800.
Yeah, but they had combined for. Devontae had 11. Tevin Coleman had 8, and then
maybe all-purpose yards.
Yeah, all-purpose yards they combined for 20, like for 2,000. Yeah. That's what it was because they both combined for 800 just by themselves in terms of receiving yards. So yeah, that's what they had combined for. That was the 2,000 mark because Devontae had 1,000, and then Tevin had 520 on the ground, and then Tevin had wait 421 through the air, and yeah 421, and Devontae Freeman had 462, and they combined for 5 touchdowns in the passing game and 19 during the running game. That was a pretty special year for just offense in general. Like that was like
Yeah, of
holy.
course.
Like we really think about that. Like we had a lot of pick sixes that year, a lot of fumble touchdowns that year, like fumble recovery touchdowns. 19 touchdowns on. Well, actually, no, it might have been more because I remember Matt Ryan had a couple rushing touchdowns. Well, yeah, that was in the playoffs. Never mind. So yeah, so in total we had 20 rushing touchdowns during the season, and then Matt Ryan's 38 on the ground during the year, and then what like 6, maybe 5 defensive touchdowns. Like we were scoring a lot of points that year. Holy, that was man. I missed that
But
team.
yeah, I'm just trying to think about like the type of balance that we would achieve for any kind of quarterback that we would want to bring in. Like, do we want to be more 50-50 or do we want to lean more? Like, because I think our strength right now is definitely in the ground game.
That's what our strength is in the offensive line too. They are a bunch of maulers.
Yeah, so I would want to lean into that, which makes me want to see the quarterback that would complement that the most. And
I
that's
think
another thing as to why I don't really feel Kirk Cousins is going to show up here. Because I don't think he would complement the run game as much as someone else would. I think he would want to be in here just to be like, oh, hey, let me just do what I've been doing in Minnesota. I mean, he could change too, but just the way that I see it right now, like, why go for him when you can go for someone that's a little bit more moldable to become a complement to the run game that we have? And at that point, then we can have a conversation about the scheme that would run too.
yeah. Now, see, the thing is though, Zach Robinson does come from that McVay tree, and remember they used to run a lot of play action and use the run game a lot with Jared Goff and Todd Gurley. And then as soon as Matthew Stafford came there,
A
going
lot
into
of pre-snap motion too.
yeah, a lot of 4 or 5 wide receiver sets, a lot of empty sets, a lot of passing. But I think Matthew Stafford passed for like 4,000 yards a year, like 4,200. So I think to be honest, I think that the Shanahan tree is so widely open that you can do anything with any quarterback. It just depends on the type of quarterback you want. Like if you get like a rookie quarterback in here, or if you get like a Fields in here, you're probably going to use the run like 50-50, use the play action, use the pre-motion snaps, and get the run game more into. And you bring a Kirk Cousins here, you're kind of like you're most likely drafting a wide receiver at 8 or 43, or signing one and drafting one at 8 or 43, and then seeing what the pass game could do. Because I don't really think the offensive line is as bad as in the pass game as people think. I mean, of course, our weakest passing offensive lineman would be Caleb McGarry, of course, but everybody else is pretty decent, if not pretty good in pass protection.
Yeah, so I'm trying to look that up because I know that Kyren Williams, their number one running back, because he started 12 games, almost had an average of 1,200. I mean, almost had 1,200 rushing yards, had 12 touchdowns. Like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You just show up to work every week, have 100 yards and a touchdown.
Say F it.
Like, I would want that, and especially when, you got Bijan saying that he wants 2K.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, you definitely want to lean into the run when you have a running back that's eager as that.
I think, to be honest, I think our running game would be better because, like, Bijan is like the all-around back, and then you got the like bowling ball and Tyler Algier that can like house call a lot of stuff. Like his speed is very underrated, so it's like, kind of got a mix of both. Like, of course, our running backs are better than what the Rams had last year by 10 tons, but well, I can't really say 10 tons because Kyron Williams is a pretty good back in the league, but like you get what I'm saying. Like altogether, I would take our running back room over just Kyron Williams. But that's what I'm kind of excited to see because Kyron Williams was involved in the passing game a lot too. They did a lot of screens with Kyron Williams, like a
Yeah,
lot.
I like the production that they gave the running back, and he wasn't even to Bijan's level, but yet he was more productive than Bijan.
Just on the ground by himself, like
yeah. So do it that what you will. Then we have the better offensive line. Like,
and to be honest, I can't. We really had a better defense than they did last year too. Got more turnovers. Sacks, I think the sacks were about pretty tight. I think they had like 40 sacks last year as well.
They had some studs.
Yeah.
That
just came out of nowhere too. Like that's really the thing that's like intriguing me with Raheem Morris is that he was able to take a bunch of no names and turn them into like not even really above average, like pretty decent guys, like guys that get like a 3-year, $20 million deal.
I wouldn't call Kobe Turner a nobody, but the other guy, they're over the offensive linebacker, outside linebacker. I said offensive. Like he also had like 10 sacks that year too.
Yeah. And that's even with them doing like one-on-ones. Like, shoot, we've had a lot of one-on-one guys getting one-on-ones and just couldn't even sniff the quarterback. Those guys are doing it in like 4th, 5th round picks, early 3rd round picks. Feels so weird hearing it's gonna feel so weird hearing the Rams like 20th selection in the draft. Like I haven't heard them have a 1st round pick in so long. So it's like oh shoot. They can take an Xavier Worthy if they want to. They can take a Jared Verse, huh? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was Byron Young.
Yeah.
He was the one with 8 sacks. Kobe Turner had 9. But I mean that was pretty close. You had Michael Hoyt with 6. I mean, Aaron Donald's going to get 8 at least.
Aaron Donald having 8 sacks sounds like the letdown for him. I mean, that's just how crazy. Like that's crazy.
But I mean, you consider with what he has to deal with, and he still gets like 16 tackles for loss, which is more than anybody else on that team.
When you have 3 guys blocking you, you know you're valid. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like when that Detroit game happened 3 years ago, and Grady was like, "Hell ain't gonna block nobody else." Like I'm like, yeah, like he needs some help. Get him some help, please. Like that's just sad.
Okay.
I don't even know what that is.
that is quite the comparison.
Hey, if he reminds you of it,
I read this exactly how you typed it. So when you said Ram Man would run into his appointment, it just caught me off guard. But I'm not gonna say anything about that, but Algier is better than TJ Duckett. Let's just say that. Work done, I won't touch because he's way too good of a person. So I'm not gonna. They're just 2 good people, all right? Like him and Bijan, they're just nope, don't want to say it.
I feel like that's like Tevin Coleman, Bijan, Devontae Freeman 2.0, but like better, like 10 times better.
Probably, yeah.
Man.
So, yeah, I would say that, hey, let's lean into the run game more, and then we'll figure out the quarterback that we want to, be the decision maker. Put us in those play action spots where they can, be really convincing. And then just, hey, when it comes to 2-minute drill, 4th quarter, how are you on 3rd downs, that kind of stuff, sack evasion. Let's see where you go with that. But I feel like a lot of these options would be good. The best one, Do you guys want to give one final guess? Everyone just puts down a name of the quarterback that they not that they want, but that they think would be the direction that Atlanta would go here.
So like for
So
me,
I'm not trying to go with anybody's feelings. I'm just trying to go with like, hey, what direction do you think that they are taking?
to me,
Spencer Rattler. Really? That's the first player.
I don't know why.
I even finished the question, dude. Wow, come on, man.
To be honest, I don't know where Spencer Rattler came from, but all of a sudden his name just catapulted in like the last 3 days. I think somebody in the Discord brought him in. It was like Spencer Rattler's like such an amazing player. He'd be like still in the forefront. I'm like, huh? Then I got to watching him more. I'm like, oh, yeah, he's pretty good. Not that same a-hole he was in high school, but you know, I mean, but like then again, like you're comparing a person that's getting ready to go to the NFL to a cocky 16, 17-year-old. I mean, like, you know.
Emmanuel, I have just the person for you. Jonnu Smith.
Let's go run an end around with Kyle Pitts and see what happens.
No. That's too predictable.
No. We're gonna take Michael Pruitt. Okay. Listen. Hear me out.
All right. Who's he throwing to?
We're gonna put him at H-back. We're gonna put Desmond Ridder in, Michael Pruitt behind him. Chris Lynch's gonna pull. Okay, we're gonna toss it right. Chris Lynch's gonna pull. Okay. Michael Pruitt is gonna throw to Parker Hesse for a 30
do you want Caleb McGarry in motion before?
Oh yeah, we're gonna motion him left, leave that spot open. So they're gonna blitz 2 guys, and we're gonna have everybody block left, where we're gonna have Chris Lynch take on a 2-man. He's gonna take on Demario Davis and Cameron Jordan at the same time.
Okay, and then what's Keith Smith gonna do? Nothing?
Oh, he's gonna go out for a post. He's got the post route.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Parker, so look, this is what we're going to have. Drake London, check down. He's going to be on a curl. Kyle Pitts is going to be on the sideline. We don't need him. We don't need him for right now, okay? We don't need him. Our star tight end.
It's too obvious, right? He needs a break anyways.
It's too obvious, guys. I'm telling you, okay?
Come on, guys. It's late in the fourth quarter. Like, we don't need him right now.
We're going to have Parker Hesse run a corner route and Keith Smith take the top off the defense 4.9 speed and do a post.
Well, here's the thing. Are they going to end up in the same spot on the field? I would really want that.
Most likely.
All right, cool.
Most likely. The separation between them is going to be about 4 yards, maybe 5. To where the cornerback can decide whichever one he wants to go to.
All right. And then just make sure that you get the low snap from Drew Dahlman.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. And then cool. Jake Matthews is going to come around, get the ball, launch it to Parker Hesse. He's going to do a lateral pass back to Drake London. Drake London with his left hand, because he's left-handed, is going to throw it back to Desmond, and then Desmond is going to throw to nobody but the one and only
free safety.
Man, just throw it to Antonio Winfield for a Buccaneers pick 6 touchdown.
Just how we drew it up.
We've won the game 16-19. Desmond Ridder has 3 picks, 1 touchdown, and 2 what the F's. With a Arthur Smith, all of a sudden, we don't care about fantasy. We just care about winning, which is the main reason why Bijan Robinson was perfectly healthy, but we gave him 8 carries for 25 yards. Drake London, 1 catch for 7. Kyle Pitts didn't even get any play time. And when he did get in, we designed him to run in double coverage, so all he had to do was run cardio.
Well, we were kind of keeping him in the spot so that Tucker Fisk can get the real targets there.
Yeah. Keith Smith too. Can't leave out Keith. We cannot leave out Keith.
Well, he's more of a deep threat right now.
Yeah. Got to bring back Christian Blake too. Christian Blake is a beast, a stud. Got to.
Do you want him or Tajay Sharp?
We
Or
need
you know what? Let's see if we can trade for Brian Edwards again. How about that?
no. We need a tight end. We need Tajay. We need Tajay. Yeah, we needed Tajay Sharp. Actually, forget it. How about we bring them all back in and cut Drake London? We don't need them. We don't need them. We can win the NFC South with Desmond Ridder at quarterback, Russell Gage, Tajay Sharp, Brian Edwards, and Christian Blake as our starting wide receivers. With Parker Hesse at tight end.
It'll be 2021 all over again.
7-10, here we come. 8th overall pick, here we come.
Dude, how did 37 people stay for that conversation? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. How that
like, oh, surely they're going somewhere with this, right? Dude, we didn't know.
I'm sorry you guys had to hear that. That was just. I'm sorry you guys had to hear that. That was like reliving World War II all over again. Like just saying all the like terrible things that's happened, and it's like, where's the good part?
I'm trying so hard not to break. All right.
It's like, because when you think about this, this is what actually happened. Jonnu Smith, a 29-year-old tight end who was not drafted 4th overall, had more targets, catches, and receiving yards and touchdowns than our 4th overall pick. And no disrespect to Tyler Algier. We all love Tyler Algier. But if you drafted a generational running back at 8, why does he splitting carries with Tyler Algier? Give that man the 20 to 25 carries a game. My God. I can't wait till Zach Robinson start calling him.
By the way, Mike Davis retired, so we can't sign him right now.
Dang it.
We'll protect him. But we can get Damian Williams.
You know who else we can get? On 3rd and 14. You know what we're going to run? We're going to put trips on the outside, right? Kyle Pitts at the top, Jonnu Smith on the right side, Cordero Patterson in the slot. And when we have guys that we drafted to be deep threats and big body guys to get us yards like this, you know what we're going to run? A tunnel screen with nobody blocking. And Cordero Patterson's going to take it to the crib.
You said Cordero Patterson?
How about Parker Fisk? My fault.
I'm taking Todd Gurley.
How about Edo Smith?
Oh, Brian Hall.
That's a little too good. That's a little too obvious. That's a little too obvious. A little too obvious. How about AJ Terrell?
All right. Yeah, not even I was expecting that.
AJ Terrell, the guy who hasn't had a pick in 2. Love him to death. Great cornerback, top 10 cornerback, but has bricks for hands. Let's go to AJ Terrell for the tunnel screen on a 3rd and 15.
Well, maybe he can catch the screen. If he can't catch the screen,
I have no faith in him after
that. All right. Well, I got somewhere else to go, so I've enjoyed this conversation. I'm glad you guys were able to as well. Anything else we want to say before we end the show? I'm sorry I saw other people like Raymond and Wallace. They were just coming in here. But yeah. You got the rest of the show, so beforehand.
Hey, good one, Nathan. I seen that last joke. Good one, Nathan. Well, football's about to start getting exciting again. Well, the offseason is. The big boys are up tomorrow. Offensive line's up tomorrow. Let's see. Free agency's in 10 days, so we ain't got to worry. Well, free agency starts really in 9 days because the negotiating period starts on March 11th. So you can really sign guys early. It just doesn't become official until that Wednesday, March 13th at 4 p.m. after they sign everything. But yeah, things are starting to get juicy, man. I think we're gonna know basically what this entire offseason is gonna be about by about this weekend. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they're gonna let this carry on for long. I really say by next weekend, it's either Fields, we're locked in on Cousins, or we've traded up into the top 3 spot by then. That's really what it's looking like for me, because they know more than we do. They know what they what they're going to be able to do, and I don't think they want to wait all the way till like mid March to try to trade for Justin Fields or Sean Kirk. So yeah, but things about to get kicked off. Things about to get started, and we will be back next week to let you guys know if anything has happened. I don't know if Mike and K Styles are still in here, but thanks for popping in the chat. I'll try to be on y'all live a little bit more. Been a little bit busy with track and football and working. So yeah.
Hey man, keep up that 3.7 GPA you got.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That is I didn't know it was that tough to keep up until I got back in January. This is like school has just been killing me. Just to let you guys know, I start school at 8:05. Friday, I didn't wake up until 7:45. So lets you know how tired I've been lately. So yeah. But yeah, thank you all for joining in. I'm gonna let Noah, finish that part up. But I just want to say thank you all for joining in. I know it's been about a month since we've been in here, but gonna try to get in here more often since everything's starting to heat back up, and talk about a couple more things with our Falcon fam, and all love all y'all guys and girls. Gotta show the Lady Falcon some respect.
Oh yeah, with the Maggie's
Show,
talk
yeah,
show. Yeah,
it's very funny.
Yeah, I don't know if I can be here next week. I want to, but I also don't know if I got to work. So we'll just kind of leave that up in the air. And even this show was kind of last second, as far as everything that I had to do. So, but I'm appreciative every single time that I get an audience like this. So, thanks again for tuning in. And yeah, we will see you back next time. Hopefully, we'll get more people to kind of expand the conversation. Might get number of guests that you already seen them before, just haven't seen enough exposures to them. So I'll get some more people and hook them up, and let's see what they can add to our conversation, as well as you guys as well. So, all right, guys, appreciate it, and we will see you next time.
Later.
Peace.